Now preparing our children to compete in the global marketplace of ideas and innovation. Experts agree that Connecticut needs to do better, much better, especially when it comes to closing the achievement gap between children from low-income families and the higher-income families. This year's results from standardized testing show not a lot of improvement. Some improvement in some areas, but really, overall, not a lot of improvement. But our first guest says we should not use test results alone to measure achievement. He's the new executive director of the state's largest teachers union, the CEA, the Connecticut Education Association. We welcome Mark Waxenberg. Thank you, and congratulations on your new position.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're a former teacher.
25 years in the classroom.
What did you teach?
Middle school mathematics.
And where did you teach?
East Hartford, Connecticut.
East Hartford. Math score is one of the areas where there's quite a bit of concern.
Absolutely. I think that we have to address those concerns within the curriculum, and we're hopeful that the progress that's been made this year, even though it's been incremental, will continue to be incremental and even gain over the future.
Well, what's it going to take to make these results better? I mean, people say, well, we need more money, we need more teachers, we need fewer teachers. The opponents will say, well, you know, got this teacher tenure program, and it's keeping teachers who don't perform well in the jobs, and it's hard to get them out. You know, where do we begin with this?
I think the reality of the situation is that we recognize that across the state of Connecticut we have a diverse population. The majority of our problems that exist in this state are in the urban areas, as we know, and in the far rural areas. And what we also know that we have to deal with not only the test scores, but go beyond the test scores. What's happening in early childhood education? What's happening with parental involvement? What's happening with the community and the English learners that need to get it as a second language? So there are issues that need to be addressed outside of the classroom and the culture and climate of it, so that we can bring more progress into the classroom.
Well, it seems as though those issues we all know about, and they should have been addressed by now, and so I guess they haven't been addressed very effectively.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've made, as incremental progress we've made in the classroom, it's only been incremental progress in the areas that I've just talked about. We know what works. The research shows that early childhood education works, yet we don't invest in the front end of it as much as we should. We know that the parental involvement early on works, yet we don't really go into the communities and invest in that type of program. So we really have to take a step back, focus on what works, and really commit ourselves to do that, as well as the work that we do in the classroom.
Well, now in the urban areas and lower income groups, would you say it's more of a parental involvement issue? And if so, how do you get parents involved? A lot of the people in the lower income groups are struggling to make ends meet. They're working 3 jobs, and you know, they're tired when they get home, and so they don't have the energy to really, in some cases, get involved with their kids. They're just tired.
Well, we have what we call now an effort called wraparound services, where we recognize that exists.
Yeah.
And what we as at the school level have to do, not only the teachers, but work with the social agencies outside of the schools to have these wraparound services to enable the parents to play a meaningful role in the educational life of their students. Those are major pieces and parts that need to be addressed and looked at, and we believe that would show significant success.
What is the CEA as an organization trying to, as an association that represents the teaching community, the teachers, what is it doing specifically to address these issues? What initiatives?
Well, we have what we call the compact learning schools in the state of Connecticut, where we do look at the whole school as one, look at collaborative learning, changing the climate and the culture of the school. In fact, there's been significant success at Bassick High School in Bridgeport, Connecticut, to show that they were at one of the lowest 100 schools in the nation. They've since made safe harbor according to the national standards. So we have programs along with our partners, the American Federation of Teachers and the NEAG School of Education, to really put forward programs that we think can change whole schools in a meaningful way.
Is that stereotype still around that we've understood exists, that where the parents will blame the teachers for the kids not doing well, and the teachers will blame the parents for not being involved? When are we going to sort that out and remember what's at stake here, our kids?
I think the model that I just spoke about, the compact school model, it stands for community, parents, administrators, teachers, and children, acting as one. We are not going to blame anybody. We are going to work with everybody, all the participants in public education, the parents, the children, the teachers, the administrators, so that we can have a meaningful academic growth across every constituent group in that building.
Now, in Bridgeport, despite 2 years of federal school improvement grant funds, more than $4 million extra went into 2 of the 3 high schools.
Correct.
Now, you said Bassick was doing better. The scores remained relatively flat, didn't they?
Well, if you look at the way that the testing goes, the answer is yes. But if you look at what we call the vertical growth, for example, a student could come in on 2nd grade level reading. That student could advance to the 8th grade reading level. That's a vertical growth of 6 grades. Yet they're still in the not proficient range. So when you look at the not proficient status, you have to look at how much growth was there within that not proficient status so that we can continue to make the progress.
So this is your point. This goes to your point about not just relying on the test scores alone.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, I regret our time is up here on The Real Story today, but it's a pleasure to meet you. Probably your first interview as the new leader, or one of the first?
You are the first.
Okay. Nice to be the first, and I wish you well in your new position at CEA.
Thank you very, very much.
Mark
Great to be
Waxenberg.
here.
Thank you. Now, don't forget, if you missed something on The Real Story, you can now watch it online by going to ctnow.com. You can also catch us on YouTube. Thanks for watching this week's edition of The Real Story. We'll see you here again, same time next week.